Welcome, and here we go. Okay, the first thing I've done is I've opened up Illustrator, so it's the orange AI icon. And now I'm going to open the Photoshop file that I want to use. So I know it's weird because you think it's a Photoshop file, but it will open in Illustrator because all of the Adobe applications talk to one another. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to use Ian's. Thanks, Ian. And this is critical. You must have convert layers to objects checked. Don't have flatten layers to a single image because otherwise you can't separate it for colors and it kind of defeats the purpose of this whole thing. So make sure it says convert layers to objects and then click OK. And so it will eventually open. So here's my Photoshop file. Thank you, Ian. This is Ian's Photoshop file. And what you'll see is if I hover my mouse over, can you see all of the colored squares that are happening? That's because each color is a separate layer, which is what you need in order to cut vinyl. So it's great that this is here, but now what we need to do is separate it by color. So in order to do that, we have to create a new document. So I'm going to go up to File, New, and you want something really big. So I go to Custom, and I make sure that this says inches, not points or anything else, inches. And that's partially my preference. If you are a centimeters, meters person, go right ahead. But I'm an inches person for this particular application because the t-shirts we measure in inches because they come from the United States. So width, because this is a lot, like look at how many different layers there are. Red, gray, white, black, blue. There's a lot of layers here. And I know that this, because I looked at it, this original document is already 11 by 8, which means it's big. So for each of those layers to sit next to one another without overlapping, because that's what needs to happen, we gotta make this big. So I'm gonna make it 50 inches by 50 inches, and hopefully that's enough. We shall see. So you don't need to worry. CMYK is great if it's for printing. We're not printing, we're actually cutting. So this color mode doesn't actually matter, but it does matter that it is 300 resolution, 300 ppi, because the cutter won't cut anything less than that. Okay, so I'm gonna go create. Now I have this big giant square. Good for you, Jones. What does that mean? All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go between tabs here. We're gonna go between the one that I opened and the new one. And what I'm going to do is drag one color at a time. So, since the majority of this is red, let's start with the red. So all you have to do is click and hold the left mouse button on the red and start dragging that colored box into the untitled, well, I haven't saved it, so the untitled document, and then let go. So there is the red part of my car. Now I'm going to put it up in the corner so I have room because there's a lot of layers. Now, this isn't the last step. This is just getting it into this document. Now, what we need to do is get Illustrator to trace that so that it makes a vector path, which is the lines. So if any of you have taken physics or science 10, you know what a vector is. It's a direction and all of those things. So you need to do that so that the vinyl cutter then knows where in space to cut. So to do that, we click on it. So now I have this box around it. And I'm going to go up to, this is the part everyone forgets, so I'll go slow. Object. And you want to go down to Image Trace. Okay, this is for a picture, not for a shape, not for text that's still text. This is for a picture or rasterized text or a rasterized shape. Image, trace, and then make and expand. Now, it turns it black. Don't panic. Okay? It's supposed to turn it black. Okay? That means it's outlined it. So we have a couple more steps to do to make it ready for the vinyl cutter. Now, as smart as Illustrator is, because clearly it just outlined that whole thing, it sometimes makes more than one outline. And our vinyl cutter will then cut the thing twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. And if that happens, it starts to rip it up and it gets stuck in the vinyl cutter and it's just not a good scene. So what we need to do, so I clicked off and I'm going to click back on and get the box around. And I'm going to use the keys Control, Shift, holding them down together. And I'm going to hit the G key a lot like I'm spamming in a game. Okay? So once I've done that, what I've just done is I've unhooked the vertices of the vector. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off of it again, and I'm going to click back on in a white spot. And I'm going to press delete on my keyboard. Now what I've just done is delete the box that goes around the outside. So Control Y lets you see the path that the knife blade in the cutter is going to take. So if I hit Control Y, you can see it's going to do that. But look at what's still here. Some of that outside box. So I need to click on it and hit delete on my keyboard so that I only have the shape. Okay? Now to go back so I can see the full shape, you press Control Y again. Alright? So now we're done the red because it doesn't have any closed pieces that I have to deal with. I only had to deal with the box. So let's go to another color. So the next one I'm going to do is maybe the black. So I'm going to click on it, not let go of the left mouse button. I'm going to drag it into the next document away from the one that we just put down. So there's all of the black pieces, okay? So I'm going to click on it again. So I have the box around it. I'm going to go up here. We're going to repeat it. Object, image trace, make and expand. So now you can see all the blue lines around it, right? It's created vertices. It's created lines all the way around. We need to delete the duplicates, which is Control, Shift, hit the G key a lot of times. Okay, so I'm going to click off of it and click in the white space where the box is and hit delete. And now if I use, remember to see what the lines look like, Control Y. So you can see it's cut out, okay? And we don't have any extra white spots. All of the white is connected. We're keeping the black spots. We're getting rid of the white. So we don't have to do anything else to this particular layer. I will show you one, I think there's one in here that we have to do something extra to, which will be fine. So let's go back to our original document. And what color? Let's do, oh, the white is not going to work. So I'm going to have to do something different to the white in Photoshop, but that's okay. We'll take the gray. We'll see if it works. This is the thing about Illustrator. Illustrator doesn't like light colors. It can't find the edges of light colors, and so then it won't trace it. And I think this might show me. I'm going to show you what it does when it doesn't trace. So Object, Image Trace, Make and Expand. See how it went completely white? It's because it doesn't think there's anything there, because the color is too light. So how do you fix that situation? Well, we have to go back to Photoshop to fix that situation. So I'm going to do it just to show you. I'm going to go back to Photoshop. Okay, so in Photoshop, I'm going to open up the file again. I already have it down here, so I'm just going to click on it and open it. And what I need to do is change this gray color and this white color to something dark. So it doesn't matter what color it is in Photoshop and Illustrator. It matters what color vinyl you put in the machine. So I can make this gray like dark blue. And as long as I remember that dark blue means to put gray vinyl in the machine, it doesn't actually matter. So I'm going to go to the gray layer, and we're going to use the magic wand tool to select some of the gray. And then I'm going to right click and click similar. And we're gonna pick a darker color. So let's make it dark blue. And then the fastest way to do this is kind of cheating, but we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna go to the brush tool, and I'm gonna go up here to size. Make sure it's hard round. I'm gonna go all the way to 5,000, which is bigger than the canvas. And if you just click once, it fills it all in. It's genius. It's great. So now to deselect, to get rid of the ants. So the ants, I call these things that march around ants. So to get rid of those, we go Control D for deselect. So now all of the gray bits are blue, which is going to make it easy for Illustrator to trace. So let's do the same thing for white before we leave. So we're gonna go to white, and I'm gonna use magic wand and choose the white. Okay, and then similar. And this time we're gonna make this look really ugly, but it's just for the purpose of tracing. So let's make it a really dark green. All right, we're gonna go back to the pen tool, make sure it's at 5,000 hard round, and click, and it fills it in. Thank you very much, Photoshop. Control D to get rid of the ants. So I still have this layer that says Ford, and it is a text layer. So it already text if you don't rasterize it. So if it's still got the T there, actually it has the path built in. So when you take it into Illustrator, it doesn't have to trace it. It's already existing. But just to be on the safe side, I am going to take this Ford layer, not that way, I'm not. I'm going to take this Ford layer and I'm going to highlight it. And let's just make it that dark, like make it a dark blue color again, just in case. There. All right. Can't really see it, but it's not going to matter in this situation because we're going to tear it apart. So I'm going to save this as it is, and now it looks really funny. Sorry, Ian, I made it look really funny. And we're going to go back to Illustrator. So I have this. I can't really use it, so I'm just going to hit delete to get rid of it. Now, I still have this old version of the original Photoshop document. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to open it again with the new version that I just saved. So, make sure convert layers to objects is on. All right, here's the weird funky version. So we've already done the red, we've already done the black. Let's try that gray again that we've now turned blue. So I'm going to click on the blue. Oh. And not let go, and drag it into the untitled document, and there, whoa, look at it, it's all black and fun. Okay, well, blue and fun. And now we're gonna use Control-Shift-G a bajillion times. Oh wait, I haven't traced it first. I forgot the steps. Okay, trace it first. Object, image trace, make and expand. Now we can go Control-Shift-G 1,000 times. And then click on it and press delete. Now this is one where we have an issue. So I'm gonna zoom in on this, okay? What I wanna tell you is anytime you have a closed white bit that needs to be a cutout that you're gonna get rid of, this is where Illustrator sometimes makes the cut twice. And so what you have to do is after you've done the outside box, so if you look, I don't have the box, but it likely has two paths for any closed white shape. So if you click on it, you can press delete on the keyboard, and that will delete the extra shape. So anywhere that there is extra stuff that is a closed shape that you don't want, you delete it. So I've done that. We should be good now. Control Y to see it. Looks pretty good to me. Control Y to close it. All right. Let's go back to dragging the next color. So, the next color is... What is the next color? I'm sure Ian could tell me. Oh yes, we've now turned the white green. So I'm gonna drag the green over and put it over here somewhere. And now, again, object, image trace, make and expand. And then Control-Shift, hit the G key a lot of times to unhook the vertices. Click off of it, click on it, press delete. Okay, let's have a look. Control-Y. I don't think this one has any extra pieces in it. Ooh, that was funky. It does not. It's all connected, so we're good. So now I have all the bits of the car done. So there's the red, there's the black, here's the gray, here's the white. Are you going to remember that when you go to cut this? Probably not. So what I do is I take the text tool and I write underneath it. Just make sure that it's not close enough so that you don't have to select it when you go to cut this. So I'm going to write underneath what color it is. Red. All right. Let's Let's expand that so you can see it. Red. Okay, I know that this shape is red. Let's do that for all of these. This one was the black. This is just to make your life easier when you get to the vinyl cutter and start cutting layers of vinyl. So you can remember what color things are, because I forget all the time. Gray. Right, gray. And the last one was white. Okay, so now I have all the parts of the car, but I'm missing the words. So let's take the words over. And we're gonna put them down here. Now, because they were text that is not rasterized, when I go here and I go to object, I can go just to expand. Image trace isn't gonna help me. See, it's all grayed out. It's expand, and that's if it's a shape or text that has not been rasterized. So I'm gonna hit expand. Yes, okay. And I don't have to do anything else. The computer looks after it. I don't have to get rid of duplicates. I don't have to anything. There is the whole shirt laid out. So now I'm gonna save it. File, save as, and I'm gonna call it Ian's Race Game. Ian's Race, well, we'll call it Ian's Race Car Shirt. Save it where you're gonna remember where you put it. And this is the file, this Illustrator file that you need to take to the vinyl cutter. And then we can show you how to use the vinyl cutter because there's another piece of software to use. So that's it.